Coming up on Cuse Countdown, two ACC lacrosse powerhouses battle it out for a win that could guarantee a top seed in the ACC tournament. We break down just what the Orange needs to bring home a win from Chapel Hill. Our analysts are ready to talk lax, so stick around. CC starts right now.
And this goes out to anybody who ever lost someone, or anybody who ever had like a big motivation to do something in life. Man, don't let anybody get in your way. Do what you want to do. I mean, people laugh when I said I was going to be a rapper. Look at me now. JD, get 'em.
Hi everyone, and welcome into Cuse Countdown. I'm Gabriella Rusk alongside my analysts Kevin Ryans and Jared Barton. Guys, March Madness is officially over. Did you guys pick Duke to win it all?
Oh, Gabriella, I had Arizona going and they just couldn't get there, not quite in the cards for them guys.
Nope, I had Arizona and Virginia, and like you said, Arizona just couldn't squeak it out.
Well, I had Iowa State, so I did not win the Citrus TV bracketology, but at least an ACC took a win. So turning now to ACC lacrosse, Syracuse had a bye week last week, but the Tar Heels traveled to Charlottesville to face off against the Virginia Wahoos. Let's see what happened. Starting off in the beginning of the game, Jimmy Bitter with the first goal. And then in the second quarter, Luke Goldstock with an assist by Jimmy Bitter. UNC leads 2-1. Second quarter now, a turnover by Carlson Milken of UVA, picked up by Ryan Kilpatrick. Dishes to Joey Sankey, who scores. UNC leads 3-2. Second quarter, Chad Tutton with the goal, assisted by Jimmy Bitter. 4-2 Tar Heels. Second quarter, Steve Pontrello, a goal. He was unassisted, and UNC is up by 1, 5-4. Third quarter now, Steve Pontrello has the ball again, and he'd be assisted by Joey Sankey. UNC up by 2. The fourth quarter, Jimmy Bitter again. He is unassisted. UNC leads 9-5. Joey Sankey had 4 goals in the game, and UNC wins 10-6. Well, it's been over just 2 decades since Syracuse last played at UNC. It's been 3 years since UNC transfer Nicky Galasso played on Fitzer Field as a Tar Heel. Our own Marcus White has more on Galasso's journey as he returns to where his college career began.
In the fall of 2012, Nicky Galasso was not happy at North Carolina. Galasso set UNC freshman records for points and assists, but saw his role decrease after a foot injury in the fall of his sophomore year. When he decided to transfer, Galasso looked for a school near his family in Long Island and where he would have a chance to play right away. He says Syracuse checked both of those boxes.
Once I got my release from Carolina, I knew that this is the school that I wanted to come to because they were still in the Big East and I wanted to play for one of the top programs. If I went to another ACC school, I would have lost a year of eligibility.
The move to SU was not without challenges, as Galasso missed the entire 2013 season with another foot injury and part of last season with a hand injury. But now, Galasso is fully healthy for the first time since his record-setting freshman year, which head coach John Desko says has allowed him to find his stride.
He is just more comfortable now. He's healthier now than he was when he first got here. Obviously, to have a couple of seasons, learning the offense, playing with the first midfield now. He's done some inversions because he was an attackman, so he's gotten behind the goal. I think he's just playing his best ball.
His health and uniform color are not the only things that have changed since Galasso transferred. He's no longer a pass-first attackman, but a shoot-first midfielder, tied for second on the team with 19 goals.
It's a big change for me, from going from attack to midfield, but I've accepted the changes, and I'm really comfortable now, and I like the way things are going.
With a new position and a healthy body, Golasso will return to UNC for the first time this Saturday, but the Orange hopes to give his homecoming a proper ending. Marcus White, Citrus TV.
Thanks, Marcus. Now, guys, what kind of revenge factor does Nicky Golasso bring for the Orange back at Fitzer Field, where his college career kind of began?
Yeah, you really would like, as an Orange fan, to see him do really well. You know, again, the adrenaline going back to playing at his former school. You know, he did well last year against UNC when they came to the Carrier Dome. It's a different type of setting right now for Nicky Golasso.
Yeah, definitely. You know, the revenge factor is huge. Marcus pointed it out. His role diminished at his time in UNC. He really needs to, and he tried to, find his identity again. He has with this Orange team. He's now that attacking midfielder, and he is just doing wonders for this Orange squad.
And so when he's not playing against his former team, what does Nicky Golasso just being healthy bring back for the Orange?
It adds a lot of depth to that Syracuse offense. Again, they have just been really good this year in terms of scoring that ball, and that offensive possession they have, and all those midfielders, that depth is just very, very good for Syracuse in the long run and going into the ACC and NCAA tournament.
Yeah, by having him there on the depth, you really missing Randy Stotts isn't that much of a deal. I mean, obviously you'd like to have him play, but since he, has been injured for the past couple of weeks, they haven't skipped a beat.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, we're going to take a break, a timeout here on Cuse Countdown. When we come back, we'll meet the Tar Heels and have some word association fun. You won't want to miss this, so stick around. CC back in 90 seconds.
I've got a job to do today.
I've got a job to do today.
Have a good first day at work, Mom.
Your donations to Goodwill fund job training programs right in your community.
Feels good to start fresh, right?
Sure does.
And like that, you're a job creator.
They're coming. Places, everybody.
Light check. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Everything looks good on our end.
And lights.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
On Friday morning, Cuse Countdown associate producer and myself will be driving the 637 miles from the Carrier Dome to Fetzer Field in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. The drive should take us an estimated 10 hours. Fetzer Field is in its 9th decade at UNC. It is home to men's and women's lacrosse, but hosts men's and women's soccer, which draw the largest crowds. It should be a beautiful spring day in this outdoor stadium with temperatures reaching up to 73 degrees. No worries, Citrus TV will bring our sunglasses with us. But let's go back to the last time these two teams met and UNC made the journey to the Dome. Pat Foster starts off the game with 9 minutes left in the first quarter. 3-0 UNC with a backhanded shot by the Tar Heel. In the first quarter with a minute left, Billy Ward grabs the unassisted shot, his second of the day, 4-3 UNC. 2 minutes left in the first half now. Spencer Parks feeds Jimmy Bitter the ball. Bitter rips to the top shutter of the goal, his second of the day. 6-3 UNC with 2 minutes left in the first half. Syracuse in the second half now cuts into the lead. Ward finds Rice for his second, and 6-5 UNC with 13 minutes left to go in the third quarter. The fourth quarter, Rice finds the former UNC star, and Nikki Galasso gives Syracuse their first lead of the day, 9-8 with 7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Jimmy Bitter now gives UNC the lead on his fourth goal, 10-9 Tar Heels with 3 minutes left in regulation. But under 10 seconds left, Rice ties the game and will go into overtime in the Dome. But one overtime was just not enough, so double overtime. Randy Stotts finds Billy Ward for the game winner. Syracuse wins 11-10. And this was obviously last year, so Jimmy Bitter and Chad Tutton are two seniors now on the team. Kevin Rice, Billy Ward each had 3 goals in this game as well. So what is really going to change here for that lineup?
I mean, nothing really. I mean, the two same players are on that team right now, but you got to think about last year when they won that game, they rode that win all the way to an ACC tournament championship game. So.
Well, that was the last time these two teams met. If you're just joining us on Cuse Countdown, you're just in time. Kevin and Jared, let's meet the 2015 Tar Heels.
All right, well, starting off.
First up, we've got Jimmy Bitter. He's a 3-year starter and senior captain. He's ranked 20th for the most goals in Tar Heel history.
Now on the Torton Award list, he can dodge the cage, and he's really worked, especially on the offseason, to improve his shot, and that has helped him. He has 29 goals to date and 30 all of last year. He has tremendous vision, and that helps because if he can't score, he can find his teammates, and it's shown. 32 assists on the season.
Chad Tutton, number 12. He's a midi. And he's got 12 career hat tricks. Jared.
Yeah. Chad Tutton, a really big leader for this Tar Heel offense. The 3-year starter, like you said, he's a Canadian midfielder, 6'2", played for Team Canada in the 2012 FIL Under-19 Championships. He was the second team All-American last year, and he has 25 goals and 4 assists. That is a total of 29 points this season.
Next up, we've got the goalie, Kieran Burke, and he started in this position as a freshman, right, Kevin?
Yep, Long Island native, just like Nikki Galasso, started every game since his freshman year, and for a great reason, because he has, in his freshman season, he had 199 saves, which was the 7th most in a season in school history, and now he has 440 plus saves in 3 years. He's just standing on his head, a stopper for the UNC Tar Heels.
And last but not least, the head man, Joe Bresci, in his 7th year as head coach.
Yes, 7 seasons under his belt here for the UNC Tar Heels. He's the first coach in school history to have 8 double-digit wins in each of his first 6 years. He's been to the tournament each season. He's the 2013 ACC regular season and tournament champion, and he's also the 2010 ACC Coach of the Year, of course, with a multitude of number 1 rankings throughout his time with the Tar Heels.
Well, now it's time to play a little word association game we call Catchphrase here at Countdown. So basically, guys, I'm going to say a statement, and you're going to fill it in with the statement or phrase, the first thing that pops into your mind after I say it. Ready to play?
Yep.
Of course.
All right, so first up, Dylan Donahue's favorite kind of puppy is...
I'm going to say a Great Dane. You want to know why? Because a Great Dane is reliable. With teams dinging up on Kevin Rice, Donahue has been there to help. He's scored a lot of goals in these games, and he's very balanced. Just like a Great Dane is. He has 30 goals, 13 assists, a good balanced attack. That's why he's a Great Dane.
Oh, I see what you did there, Kevin. Next up, if we were to cast a celebrity to play Kevin Rice in the movie of his life, it would be?
It's going to have to be Nicholas Hoult, who played the Beast on X-Men. I don't know if we have a picture or not, but the guy, you put them side by side, they look exactly alike. It's just ridiculous. You would think that Kevin Rice actually played him in the movie. Who knows? But yeah, definitely.
Well, we don't have a picture, but fans at home are going to have to Google that one. Next up, Henry Schoonmaker's Pump Up playlist includes...
Oh, he's the man. And then we're going to go with the man by a low black. The reason why he's had 8 goals in the last 3 games, a team high 5 in the last game against Albany, and so he's been the man the last couple of games for Syracuse, leading the way. That's why he's going a low black.
All right, Jared, now this is my favorite question. Coach John Desco's favorite president is?
It's definitely Ronald Reagan. I guarantee you, back in the 80s, John Desco, Johnny D, was definitely a fan of the trickle-down, form of economics. Exactly. He is definitely a Ronald Reagan supporter.
All right, well, we're not going to ask Coach Desco his political views, but UNC lacrosse, what do they watch on their road trips?
Well, for me, it has to be community. They have the community of scores. Think about it. Jimmy Bitter, Joey Sankey, Luke Goldstock, and Chad Tutton all have 20-plus goals this season. They're definitely watching community with the guy from The Hangover and all that stuff.
Community is a very intriguing pick, but I'm definitely going to have to go with Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. Come on. This team trying to build some camaraderie. Maybe they'll wear the same pants. Who knows? You never know what's going to happen. This team definitely is watching Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants.
That's a great movie. That's one of my favorite movies. But this has been fun. We've got even more fun coming up. We're going to pause now for a few public service announcements. When we return, we'll look around the ACC and around the nation. So stick around. CC back in 90 seconds.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
You having some trouble, Gabriella?
Well, I got this new lip gloss, so, I'm going to reapply here on the break.
Got to freshen up. You never know.
Yeah, definitely. Cameron loves you, Gabby. Don't worry about it. Just saying.
Body language can tell you all sorts of things. Like someone is having a stroke. Know the sudden signs. Learn fast. Face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty. Time to call 911 and get them to a hospital immediately. Learn the body language and spot a stroke fast.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
All right, Cuse countdown back, and we're heading around the nation. Notre Dame, #1, the Orange at #2, then rounding out the top 10 with UVA, UNC, and Duke. That's the ACC all over the board around the nation. Usual suspect Albany at #10 always gives Cuse a little bit of trouble, so that is around the nation. But taking a closer look now at just the ACC, it's pretty much a transplant off the national rankings. Again, we've got Notre Dame, UNC, Syracuse, Virginia, and Duke all in the top 10 there for the ACC. Notre Dame is undefeated, UNC is undefeated, Syracuse lost to
Notre Dame, definitely.
Virginia, or Notre Dame, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well, now the most important standings of it all, the race for the Countdown Cup. Here at Citrus TV, this week's analyst standings have Danny Cuneo in first place, Seth Quam and Matt Ryle. Matt Ryle won it for basketball, and he is not showing up this week. Not a great week for Christian Pedersen either. He had 0 wins and falls to the bottom of the standings. Kevin and Jared, let's see what you got this week.
Thanks, Gabby, and welcome to another edition of Around the Nation. Kev, you ready to go?
Let's go. Let's do it.
All right, our first game features a very, very spirited matchup of Cornell versus Hofstra. Now, I'm going to have to go with the Big Red in this game. They're ranked 10th right now, 8-3 on the season, only suffered losses to Syracuse, Virginia, and Harvard. This is a team that has a very, very high-powered offense. If you've seen it through and through this year when they came to the Dome earlier. I'm going to go with the Big Red.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Big Red as well. Cornell, you talked about their offense. Their offense is spearheaded by their Fogo. You think about it, the face-offs they've won 180 out of 270 faceoffs. Let's go with the Big Red. Hey, look, if you think about it, that's a lot of possession to have, and if you're going to have a lot of that possession, you're going to win a lot of games. So let's go Big Red. We're going to move on into the Ivy League matchup, Yale versus Brown. And look, I got to go Bulldogs here. They've won 3 in a row, and on the road, they've started out really well. They've had 3 games, and they've won 2 of them. And they also had a big win over Maryland early on in the season, and that's a top 5 team. And you think, hey, look, if you can go out and defeat a top 5 team, and you could probably be anyone. So you got to go Bulldogs here.
In this matchup, I'm definitely going to go and take Brown. And one reason only, it is Dylan Malloy, who has 44 goals. That is the most in Division I right now. The guy is an offensive threat just by himself. You put him out there and he could really win you the game. I'm going to go with Brown. Our next matchup features the Great Danes of Albany versus Binghamton. Yeah. And in this game, I'm going with the Great Danes. You have a guy in Lyle Thompson, has 68 total points, which leads the entire Division I. 68 points. Outrageous so far in this season. They only have a few losses. Cornell and Syracuse. And they've only really played regional teams so far. This is another regional matchup that I think they'll have no problem taking care of.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jared. I'm going to go you all. When you think about it, Binghamton, not a very good team, and they've blown out teams. Albany has blown out teams left and right. They beat UMass Lowell at one point, who's 1-9, 25-0. They can take care of that one bad team. They could probably take care of a team like Binghamton now. Final game, you got Virginia versus Duke. And, Duke on a bit of a losing streak right now. They've lost 3 in a row, and that's why I'm going to go UVA. Hey, look, you think Virginia, 4-1 on the road. This game is being played at Durham, North Carolina, and that's going to be very important. And you think they've played 5 games, they've won 4 games on the road, confidence that they can beat a really good top-ranked team over in enemy territory. You got to go with the Cavaliers in this one.
I'm going to disagree with you here. This game, you featured a 6 and an 8 matchup. I'm going to go with the Blue Devils.
Ooh.
And this is why. They have the last 3 games they've lost. They've lost pretty big. Syracuse, North Carolina, and Notre Dame. Those are arguably the 3 best teams in the nation right now. They need a win. They need something to boost that confidence and go. I think a Virginia team right now is pretty vulnerable. Yeah, 6th spot. They're still really good. Don't get me wrong, but look for the Blue Devils to make a comeback and try to get back on the winning track, going with the Blue Devils. Well, that's all we have for Around the Nation today. We're going to send it back to you, Gabby.
Thanks, guys. It's the last TO here on CC. When we come back, it will be to answer your questions. So head to the Twitter sphere. You've got 60 seconds to send us your die-hard questions you've been wanting us to answer all show. The clock starts now, and you've got 140 characters to fill.
Even know that life could be any better than it was. Education for me has been a way to get away from the agony of what was normal life. I want to be able to impact the community. Not just look back on where I came from, but to reach back to where I came from and pull some people up with me. My name is David, and I am your dividend.
Well, if you can't get enough of Cuse Countdown and Citrus TV, don't worry. We are all over the web. We're at sportsblog.citrustv.net, at Cuse Countdown, at Citrus TV Sports. Citrus TV Sports has got an Instagram, but Citrus TV also has an Instagram. You can follow us at CitrusTV_ and see what our Man Crush Mondays and our Woman Crush Wednesdays are. But on Twitter, more importantly, we have answered your questions. This is my favorite segment. I absolutely love Twitter questions. So let's see. Josh Bazan, he's our news producer here. He wants to know, how do you think the Orange hold up on the road against a top 10 team? Hashtag Cuse, hashtag lacrosse.
Well, hello. They went out and played really well on the road against Notre Dame. Yeah, they lost Notre Dame in overtime or double overtime, but still, it was a battle to the end, and they really held down, or played really well against a top 10 team in enemy territory. They did very well, so they could definitely go to UNC and face off against the North Carolina team that is just very good, top 10 on the road too.
So now, as lacrosse, the sport, is gaining some momentum, I have another fan from Florida, at Greg1201, wants to know, for new fans to Lax, what are the keys to watching SU play?
Well, you got to watch out for that high-powered offense. You have the triple-headed monster, Nicky Galasso, Henry Schoonmaker, Kevin Rice, and when Randy Stotts is in there, you toss him into the mix, and how unbeatable can they be on offense? I mean, you just got to watch, keep your eye on the ball because they score fast, and you definitely don't want to miss any of those goals.
And last but not least, our final Twitter question comes from a friend of our producer, Adam. At Cuse Countdown, how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? Hashtag the world needs to know. Well, here on Cuse Countdown, we try to answer all of your questions. We've got the Tootsie Pops right here. Guys, how many licks?
A 1, a 2, a 3.
All right, I'm going to cut you off there. The world needs to know. The world needs to know. But if you want to know another Twitter question, be sure to tweet at Cuse Countdown, and we'll try to answer any and all question here on Citrus TV. But guys, going back to the game. So, what are your X factors for this game? Kevin, we'll start with you.
Well, my X factor is, does Randy Stotts play? Because if he plays, it just adds to the dynamic of that offense. And if you do better on the on the offensive end, you score more. Obviously, Ben Williams is a factor over there. If you do well on the offensive end, you score those points, and get North Carolina in a hole early. That's going to be really important. Can Randy Stotts come back and add depth to that already deep offense?
My X factor is going to have to be Bobby Wardwell on the defensive side of the things. When Bobby Wardwell plays, he plays really well. And you saw it in the second half against Notre Dame. The guy came up with 8 huge saves. They had to be huge if they wanted to get back into the game. They were down 6 goals. They needed to climb their way back. They did it on the back of Bobby Wardwell. When he plays, that defense is lights out. It is great. So that is my X factor.
Well, if both of these 2 X factors play as you guys think they're going to, Kevin, what's your prediction for this game?
I'm going to go 13-12, Syracuse with a victory. I think if Syracuse goes out and they take charge of the face-off X, take charge of the offense early, of course, the biggest thing about in any sport is scoring first. If you score first, put them in a hole, and everyone is working on all cylinders. The defense is playing well, and of course, Bobby Wardwell, as Jared said, is standing on his head, doing really well, stopping UNC. They can really go out and play a really good game. So I think that 13-12 is a fair score because UNC is a very good team as well. So
not a bad score. I'm going to go 11-9, just a little bit smaller. Again, that offense, they come to play. They come to play almost every game. And, they had a couple little rough games there. Notre Dame, obviously, with their first loss. But this team, they know how to win. And, yeah, North Carolina is good, but I think the Cuse is better.
Well, we will have to see what happens on Saturday in UNC. Myself and our associate producer, Marcus, we're going to travel to UNC for the game, so you should follow us on Twitter at Citrus TV Sports. You should also follow us on Facebook. We're going to be posting our updates. And OPP also has a show on Saturday at 9 p.m., so be sure to tune in for that live. We're going to have live hits from Fitzer Field, but that's all the time we've got right now. I guess we'll have to find out how many licks does it take to get to the center of the Tootsie Pop. That's all we've got. For Jared and Marcus, for Jared and Kevin, I'm Gabriella.